Curriculum and Student Success, that will be chaired by Board Member Opperman, our Policy Committee, that will be chaired by Board Member Lena, and a Public and Legislative Affairs Committee, which will be chaired by myself. And committee chairs, after this meeting, I'll be sending out a template for just a little report that you can write that we'll be able to put in board docs for the second meeting of every month. And committee chairs will also have time at every second meeting in the month to report out about what's happening in their committee and to get questions from other board members. I think the superintendent thought I was going to keep talking, but I don't have very many more remarks. I think they're working on some audio things. One of the other things that we will do tonight actually is look at the new software or platform that the board is using. It's called Diligent Community, and it holds all of our documents. It's kind of like board docs, but upgraded. And so tonight is our first board meeting using that platform. And so we've hit a few little hiccups, but we'll get them worked out. And with that, I'm ready to turn it over to you, Superintendent, if you are ready.
Yeah. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever time we're going to call it. It's still nice and sunny outside. So I'm going to go with good afternoon. It is great to have everybody back, as our union representative shared and as Chair Lenz shared. It's great to be back for the start of a new school year. And oftentimes people say, have you been taking a break? And summer is actually sometimes the busiest time for many of our staff. And so I just want to highlight a couple of things that have been happening over the summer that we'll then go in deeper on during our Starting Strong presentation in the focus around education. So one is, last week we had our leadership convening. This brought together all of our principals, assistant principals, directors, assistant directors together to deepen our planning for the start of the school year. Topics varied, but included deep dives into student data, cell phones and progressive discipline, human resources, math, and ESOL, as well as CPI and restraint training. And so there was a myriad of topics there. The next time we meet as a board will actually be the same day as our second annual One Team gathering at Merrill Auditorium, where we will be joined by approximately 1,400 staff members, hopefully some board members, and we'll have some special messages from a couple of guests that will be joining us through video to welcome folks back. So excited to do that again. Summer preparations. So our Director of Facilities, Tamara Sweeney, is going to share out work that they've been doing, and our other directors. One of them you're experiencing right now in this room, which we have now taken on HVAC for all of our buildings. And it's a simple signature on a paper to take that over, but a huge amount of work around our facilities team, but also makes a huge difference in terms of the environment that exists both for our staff and for our students, making sure that it's not only appropriate temperature, but also that it's safe, and that there is air that is appropriate circulating around. And so you feel that here, but there's been a number of facilities work that has happened, and you will get a little bit more of it in the update. Third piece, just want to highlight, if you'd open the Portland Press Herald, I believe this morning, it feels like maybe it was last night, you would have seen that an anonymous donor who's an alum of Portland Public Schools made a gift of $1 million. That is a huge gift to support student experiences, with $500,000 of it being earmarked for arts, something that this board has been committed to, and as we saw, increased investments in the last budget. So it's exciting to have $500,000 matched to that, and $500,000 that is unrestricted, which allows the foundation to be really targeted in the support that they're able to provide to schools over the next several years. And so that's great news for the district, and just a big thank you to our anonymous donor out there for the gift. Last, I'm just going to highlight this so that families can hear it multiple times, but bus routes, as we always get this question in preparation for the first day of school, families can expect to receive information on bus routes on August 18th via Reach My Teach. And so please keep an eye out for that, so that you can look at that and receive it. With that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair.
Great. So we're going to move into the report of the secretary. And up tonight, we have the consideration and action to approve meeting minutes of June 17th, 2025 and June 26th, 2025. Are there any corrections to the meeting minutes? All right, then seeing no corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. Now we're going to look at our focus on education.
Great. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to pull up some slides.
Chair, I think there's another secretary task.
Yes.
There's another consideration.
I put them in the same
Oh, in
motion.
one. Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. But yeah, I try to bucket them as one so we can move through them a little bit quicker.
So the bulk of this presentation will actually be from our assistant superintendents, directors, senior directors of staff talking about updates that their team has been doing over the summer with a focus around what's the work been over the summer, any challenges that they have faced as we're preparing for the start of the school year, and then anything new in particular to look forward to in the start of the school year. That said, we have had a strategic plan for the last year and over the next 4 years to guide our work. And so just as we started in the school year, it seemed to make sense to just start there. And so I'm going to do a quick highlight on the key initiatives for this year and then turn it over department by department. So first, just as a reminder, our strategic plan is grounded in 5 priorities. The 5 priorities are equity, achievement, whole student, people, and systems. And within each of these priorities, there are a number of key initiatives that waterfall out across the 5 years. And what I'm going to do here on the slides is share with you those initiatives. You'll see 2 different fonts. You'll see font that is regular, like 1.1 here. Those are things that are in the implementation phase this year. And then you will see other initiatives that are in italics. Those are in design phase. So those are places where we'll be engaging the community, families, staff to plan for future work, but they will not be things that will roll out immediately. Mhm.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
I'm seeing 1.1 is not italicized, and then 1.2 and 1.3 are italicized, but the boundary committee, those words are italicized, but the content after the colon is not. So I'm confused. Is that
understandable too? It's like a good vision test. So boundaries is in preparation for implementation. It should be regular font.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So on 1.1, the equity training, the focus there is around deepening our training for staff. We are moving from 2 to 4 equity trainings for staff to 10 this next year in partnership with an outside organization. Boundary committees. So this is the work that we have an outside committee of staff, board members, parents, students, alum that have been looking at our elementary and middle school boundaries in preparation for potential changes for the start of school year 26-27. I do anticipate that we will give an update to the board on that work at our next meeting on the 26th, and that final recommendations from the committee will come to this board in November. 1.2 is around Make It Happen. This is work that is supporting historically underserved students, and it is in the design phase and really looking at how do we best support students. 1.3 is doing the strategic planning process with a particular focus around adult education. Adult education is our biggest school, serving over 2,000 students, having a wait list of over 1,000 students. And so it is really important that we take the time to build out a full strategic plan for that. It's also the case that adult education has multiple pathways that they work through, right? So there are some students that are working to get a high school diploma, either through a traditional sort of high school credits or through a GED. There's a second pathway around career readiness that is job embedded or job specific training. And then third is around English acquisition and ESOL classes. And so recognizing the complexity there, we really want to make sure that they have a strong strategic plan. Within achievement, there are 2 pages of initiatives I'm going to talk through. So 2.1 and 2.2 is the literacy curriculum that we've now been working on for a couple of years. That work continues to deepen, with this year being focused around what are the supports for students who are identified as needing additional support. 2.5 is now implementing what our last year's study around special education told us we needed to change and how we could improve. And so we are now taking those strategies and implementing them. 2.4 is the High School for the Future work. So here we are submitting our high school consolidation application to the state as a way to compete for funding from the state, as well as strategies, particularly around 9th grade academies and advisory. On the second slide, so similar to how we did literacy, we're now engaging K-12 in math. And this is to look at our math programming at each level and to wrestle with the hard question about whether or not there are things we need to do to improve that at each of the levels that could result in changes in instructional practices, identifying a new curriculum. But that's the research and the digging in with the committee that's happening this year for implementation the following year. 2.6 is multilingual learners. So that work will look similar to the special education work from last year, where we are bringing in outside experts to look at all of our programming from individuals very early in their English acquisition to students who are longtime multilingual learners, and how do we really enhance their programming. And one of the pieces that we've also talked about there is how do we make sure that everybody in the district really understands and values multilingualism, and how do we develop multilingualism for students who may be native English speakers as well. And so how do we really make that a point of pride? On whole student, we have 2 initiatives that are worked on this year. 3.1 and 3.2 are focused on school climate at K6 or K5 level, and then 6-12. And then 3.7 is around early childhood. So this is around making sure students are ready for kindergarten with a particular focus around planning for child development services, or CDS, moving over to the district. On people, we have 4 initiatives that we're calling out here and focus on this year. So we did some work last year around defining staff culture and what are the components of a really strong staff culture and how do we develop that within Portland Public Schools. And so we'll be looking to implement pieces of that. 4.2 is looking at our staffing, and particularly how do we recruit and then hire. 4.3 is around once we've recruited and hired, how do we onboard them to have a successful and a strong first year so that they really start off? And then 4.4 is around staff feedback. The staff feedback this year will actually start with our central office and piloting evaluation and feedback for our non-represented staff. And then priority 5, which is systems, has 3 initiatives. Data systems, so that is the full launch across the district of Power School. Organizational structure, which we talked about a lot actually in the Finance, Personnel, and Operations Committee, and really how do we make that concrete so that folks in the community and folks in the field or at our schools really understand who to go to for different pieces of information. And then 5.3 is around continued work on our budget. So there's a lot that is called out for the strategic plan this year, but we thought it was important just to put it out so that folks were aware of all of the work that's happening as we now dig into the work that's been going on for the start of the school year. And Chair, what we had talked about, and tell me if this still works, is I'd love to have each of the staff come up and do their slides. And so we'll have 9 teams or 9 individuals come up, and then we'll do questions at the end. Does that work?
Mm-hmm. And when we do questions, we'll do them by section. So if you can just, board members, take a note as to which section your question is in, and then we'll go back through the 9 sections.
And so I'm excited to have Dr. Angela Atkinson-Duina, who's our Assistant Superintendent for elementary schools, start us off. And Angela, if you'd like, I'll just do slides.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm looking at my heading. There's no time like summer for planning and preparing for the new year. And I'm remembering two veteran teachers early in my career who used to come into the school over the summer and photocopy all the possible copies they might need for the upcoming year. So I don't think we've quite gotten it down pat like that, but I still appreciate that. And so we did spend a lot of time planning and preparing, getting our calendar in place, our PD sessions in place. And I also just want to share a couple of highlights from ours. We did just finish last week. August 7th was our last day of summer programming with our community partner Learning Works at the elementary school, at the elementary level. And also we had our extended school year programs. We had about 80 students for our extended school year programs over the summer and over 100 in our Learning Works programming. We also hosted, and I was just there today at one of the sessions, 2 paid planning sessions that were led by 3 teacher leaders that was around supporting planning with the ELA curriculum implementation, and we were able to pay teachers for that with support from the Foundation for Portland Public Schools. And we had about 23 teachers participate in those events over the summer. We originally had 33 signed up, so maybe next year we'll be able to kind of keep all of them engaged. I also want to highlight we had a, well, really over a full week, but of specialized leader training this summer. The topics focused on culturally and linguistically responsive leadership with our partners from the Leadership Academy. We also had sessions led by our Director of Academics and Director of ESOL at the elementary level, focused on instructional strategies for multilingual learners. And schools will take that PD that they experienced and deliver that in their schools whenever teachers come back for the August Institute. We also had sessions for school leaders on leading our SEL curriculum implementation. And so at least one school leader from all of our elementary schools has participated in that training over the summer. And then lastly, Dr. Scallon has already mentioned that we did have de-escalation, so verbal de-escalation training and also physical management training should that be necessary. And we feel confident that our schools this year will start with teams that are prepared around those areas of de-escalation more than they have in the past. We also have 5 elementary staff who were trained as trainers in the de-escalation model that we use through the Crisis Prevention Institute. So the district had 2 trainers that would try and work and make sure that all of our staff were prepared for that. But we now have 5 at the elementary level and a couple more at the secondary level. So I think we've increased our capacity to prepare for that. I also want to talk about another thing that we did this summer in preparation for the school year. We have 2 new specialized classrooms in special education opening at our elementary levels. And so we also engaged a special education expert and partnered with the Portland Rec Department to help us look at our outdoor play areas to see what we could do to ensure that our outdoor spaces are also safe and engaging for all students, and especially those students with special needs. We had a new program that we started last summer at East End, you may remember, and I think that was a little bit of an oversight on our part that we got everything ready in the school, but we weren't mindful about getting the outdoor spaces ready for that population of students. And so this summer we kind of corrected that oversight and made sure that we have plans ready in that regard. And then some things to look forward to. We are launching our new SEL curriculum. The name of that curriculum is called Purposeful People. I think if we can develop purposeful people, the world will be a better place. The company that produces that curriculum is called Character Strong, and we will be having that launched in pre-K through grade 5. So we're also glad that this is the curriculum that spans from pre-K all the way to grade 5. We have also spent time taking the work from the Progressive Discipline Task Force and working with school leaders about how those progressive discipline matrices or behavior response protocols would be implemented in their school buildings. So we, in addition to the work we have with school leaders, we also have sessions planned to engage staff at the school level around how we'll be using that this year. I already talked a little bit about our improved training plan in de-escalation strategies for school staff, so I won't go into that more. And then the other exciting thing, I just want to remind you, in our budget, we also had Title I schools with kindergarten literacy ed techs, and so we have hired those, and we have training plan for them in our early literacy curriculum, CKLA, and in the M-Class assessment and progress monitoring system. So we are excited to start the year with those staff able to support our youngest learners in literacy. So thank you very much.
Now we're going to have Dr. Ahmed, who's the Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Schools, share their updates.
Good evening, everyone. Again, as Dr. Scallon said and Dr. Atkins and Duena, this is exciting, and there is many things like getting ready for the school year. As we ended the school year, we are really excited about having the new school year with a lot of learning from our past experiences and a lot of strengths to build on. So I will start with the summer school. We had several programs, including multilingual program, credit recovery programs, intensives, and summer bridge programs. Some of these programs, and ESY as well, and some of these programs are still going on. So we will have conclusive with the participation data and access in future meetings in this fall. We welcomed at the network level new leaders. So the director of special education at the secondary schools level was actually vacant for a year and more than a year. We are excited to announce that Ms. Blake Castle, who was assistant principal at Lincoln Middle School, and prior to that was in special education in the district, will be serving as the director of special education at the secondary network level. I want to also announce that Alice Buckley will be the director of climate and culture for the secondary team and secondary schools. Alice, prior to this, was last year at King Middle School as the instructional coach. And prior to that, she was a principal and educator in Texas. We also added into the team, Rebecca Shufaila will be an interim principal at Deering High School, as well as also Jeff Burnap will join as an assistant principal at the Deering High School. So we will welcome all these leaders, and also Jillian Serois, who is math teacher at Lincoln Middle School, will step up and will step to the capacity of an assistant principal at Lincoln Middle School. We can look forward to several things that I will be listing here, including aligned behavioral response protocol and improved trainings. We designed and launching this year a codified, unified experience, social emotional platforms where we will be using advisory, and the curriculum will be from base curriculum. And we had this last year, but this year we will be having every secondary school will have at least one day with more than a minimum of 40 minutes to deliver a base lesson, and at least will be like monthly 2 lessons, and also digital citizenship lessons monthly. So this will be unified across all the secondary schools, the middle and high schools. We will also be implementing the behavioral response protocol developed by the Progressive Discipline Task Force. And today and tomorrow, actually, will be the secondary schools are trained by yonder representatives about how to implement and work on our cell phone policy implementation. We also worked with this summer training for CPI, and also getting ready for better training for our school staff, so that we will start strong in the beginning of the school year. We will continue to deepen our work in 6 to 8 ELA, and also launch design and work groups for the launch of math curriculum or math for 6 to 12 grade levels. Another So there are some challenges and some, that our schools are adopting. One of them is the closure of the city field for the middle schools, particularly Lincoln and King Middle. They access the Doughtry field, but we are collaborating with our city partners and finding solutions with the community members. So we are in a good place coordinating with them. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Dr. Valenzuela, who is our Executive Director of Family and Community Engagement.
Good evening, everybody. So for this summer, it's really been busy. For our McKinney-Vento work, we, just so you know, every year we have to renew and call families for their status, if they're still in a homeless status. So that changes in July 1st. So every July 1st, we call families and ask them about their housing status. So to confirm their status, we had to do that verbally on the phone, and we completed this task in July. And as you know, we also received a Preventing Homelessness Funds grant from the Maine Housing Authority in February. So now the grant is fully staffed and in full swing. We also were scheduling and planning for sessions for Parent University session and events that we need to do for this coming semester. And for families listening in the audience, if you also have topics that you want us to explore and to get more information about, please let us know. You can check the Parent U website, where we post all kinds of upcoming sessions and workshops for families. Some of the scheduled topics include on September 13th, we are going to have the Back to School Fair for multilingual families, where we have multiple sessions in terms of how to use IC and completing some of the enrollment forms that we need to do. So those are information that we provide during the September 13 event. And then we have 2 sessions on the new SEL curriculum that Dr. Arduino was talking about. So there's a session next week actually for multilingual families at Rose School on August 21st, and then another session about the same topic for English speakers on September 16. This is at Roe as well. The high school transition is scheduled for multilingual families on October 27th at King Middle School, and English speakers is October 7th. So this is really early in the year so that then we're able to compete with other schools that are in the area who do their sessions, their recruitment sessions in the fall, early fall. So we also so we have a help desk system, as you know, that allows for all staff to request translation and interpretation services. And this is a system that we've developed a long time ago, and it's now a bit outdated given the technology advances. And it's also separate from the district regular help desk ticket system. So in partnership with our IT department, we reviewed this system and ready to move to a system that would allow for greater efficiency, and it could also effectively pull data that will be useful in serving families needing interpretation services effectively. The other exciting project that we have, and Dr. Scallon talked about this, is I'm the lead person for the strategic plan for equity priority 1.2. So we have to do this work, we got an Ellie Mae grant, $400K, to review this work. So for this year, which is year one, it's an design year. So we are launching this design year to explore the priority and to seek to center the voices and lived experiences of our students, families, and staff, and to identify systemic barriers and access gaps and produce actionable findings that will inform targeted supports and systemic change. So we have invited proposals from qualified researchers to conduct one or more of the following activities. So that will include student, staff, and family surveys, focus group sessions for specific groups, students, staff, and families as well, and conducting in-depth interviews to capture nuanced narratives and insights from key stakeholders. And then there's going to be also a data synthesis and reporting after reviewing and synthesizing the quantitative and qualitative data to produce a comprehensive finding so we can inform ourselves of what the next plan, next stage of the equity priority will be for the following year. So those are the things for me.
Thank you, Dr. Valenzuela. I'm going to serve as the update for human resources as Jennifer Slaybank is out today. Summer and the spring leading up to it is really the busiest time in the human resource department. And so just some highlights between new hires, job changes, transfers, retirements, resignations, people moving roles. There have been 516 employees that have been adjusted since the beginning of this calendar year. So just to give you a sense, and this is as of 8/1, so there's probably been a couple since then, but 516, that just gives you a sense of how truly busy that team is. The HR team has also brought on 2 new members, so a director of people and culture and a director of, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Rosa's title right now, but is really focused on teacher recruitment, staff recruitment, and the onboarding process. The hiring and really the push on that has really made an impact. We started earlier this year, and through the work of our human resource team, as well as our hiring managers, we're in a much better spot. with about half as number of vacancies that we had at the same time last year. Job fairs were also held in June and August to support our facilities, transportation, and food service. And they were really well attended and saw more than 300 candidates between the two events. Just challenges that the team continues to face, right? With this level of volume and it being a new team, they're both flying the plane and building it at the same time. And so they're continuing to streamline processes to just make it more efficient. And then certain positions will remain hard to fill. And so it will really be about us developing that long-term plan around how do we develop. One specific example is in special education, where across the country, there is simply a shortage of educators in special education. And certainly we are not immune from that. Things you can look forward to from this team. So they're continuing to move forward with digitizing and electronically recording our practices for efficiency. And so moving away from paper files to having everything within our payroll system. And so it's all right there so employees can access it as well. We are rolling out onboarding surveys and having our HR team follow up with new hires at 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. Just to, again, support that early start. We'll also be doing stay surveys to get feedback from individuals who are not new or leaving, but to get feedback from them, and exit surveys. And then, as I shared before, we will have a rollout of an evaluation and feedback pilot for our central office and network teams. Now going to welcome up Director Sweeney to talk facilities.
Good evening. So I better put my glasses on. This summer was anything but a break for our facilities team. It was a season of intense work, preparing every building, every classroom, and every space so that students and staff can start the year in safe, clean, and welcoming environments. Some of the projects that we accomplished this summer, at the district office, we completed an exterior beautification, giving the grounds a more professional and inviting appearance. Across our schools, custodial and maintenance teams put in over 700 hours of painting, brightening hallways, classrooms, and shared spaces. At Presumpscott Elementary, we replaced flooring that had failed due to adhesive issues from a prior installation during the BFOF project to ensure a durable and long-lasting and improved appearance. We also took steps to support student well-being with vape sensor installations at our high schools. And in every building, classrooms received deep cleaning and floor refinishing so they're fresh and ready for the first day of school. Some of the capital projects that we did this summer, we installed a new fire alarm system at Moore Middle School. We finished up the facade improvements at Portland High School to protect its historic character and improve safety. We also installed 5 energy efficient HVAC units across multiple sites. And one of the really exciting things is we also welcome Thayer LLC as our new HVAC contractor, an important step in keeping our systems reliable and efficient. That's also a challenge. The HVA systems, this is going to be the first year we've taken over the HVA systems from the city. And so as we begin more hands-on inspections, preventative maintenance, we expect to uncover potential issues that we will need to address. One of the other challenges we have is tight timelines at Rowe and East End, as they had an abundance of summer programming. And it just gives us a very short window to turn around and have the schools ready for first day of school. Some of the things we are looking forward to, we've added a trades worker to the budget. So we are in the process of hiring a trades worker. They have accepted the position, and so we are just waiting on the background check. And we also hired a facilities manager who started about 3 to 4 weeks ago to our team, which increases our ability to respond quickly, handle more complex maintenance in-house. Some of the projects that we are working on is redesigning the exterior lighting here at Paths in Casco Bay. We are also working on a long overdue masonry repairs at Longfellow and Deering. And we are adding a staff parking lot for transportation. So I also just wanted to close saying I want to thank our facility staff, custodians, and contractors for their dedication and hard work this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Ben Lassavoy with Transportation is going to join us.
Everybody. So it's been a very busy summer for us. We transported 498 students for our summer programs. One of the biggest challenges we had there was the heat with the climate getting hotter. It's hard to keep the buses cool. We transported them for ESY, REC, Learning Works, and various other summer programs. Out-of-district programs run all summer long. So all those schools in Saco, we transport for. What's really exciting is the My Ride app was piloted for ESY families over the summer. The My Ride app gives families the opportunity to see bus locations, pull up schedules for their students, and it's in real time. So all families are going to have access to that this year. Our partnership with the Portland Adult Ed has recruited 3 driver trainees who we expect to be fully licensed by the start of the school year to start rolling. Of course, we're still going to be in a training phase for the first few weeks to make sure that they're all set and ready to go. A huge piece for us is we are now using our own staff to transport to all out-of-district schools. So between rerouting, staff retention, we have been able to effectively bring everything back in-house. That's every out-of-district program, even Maplestone out in Acton. And yeah, we've been filling vacancies over the summer, and we only expect to maybe have 1 for the start of the school year for a full year school bus driver open. So as Ryan mentioned, we expect to have all the routes done by this Friday, with all schedules going out on August 18th via Reach My Teach. In addition to the student schedules, there is also going to be a link to the My Ride K-12 app and instructions on how to, log on, download the app, and get your student's bus schedule through there. It is required that parents have the students' ID numbers, so that might be a little hurdle, but they can call the transportation office. We can get that for them. Another big thing that we're going to be starting this school year is pre-K and kindergarten scan cards. So the scan cards are going to be distributed hopefully prior to the first day of school. We're still waiting for them to come to us from Tyler Tech, but I expect them to be here before school starts. They're basically able to scan when they get on the bus to make sure that they're on the right bus, scan when they're getting off the bus. If they're at the wrong stop, a big red screen pulls up on the tablet and tells the driver so the students won't get off at the wrong place. In addition, this school year, there's going to be additional training on safety at all the schools. So currently we're working on scheduling bus evacuation and so-called Big 5 bus rules trainings, not en route. So these are going to be similar to like field trips where the buses pull up to the schools and the students come out in groups for us to be able to teach evacuation procedures and bus rules. I think it's going to be a lot more effective because it's not like everybody's excited to go into school. It's going to be just focused on safety. And we are going to be rolling out a new safety program for our staff. That's going to include, bi-weekly transportation meetings along with ride-alongs. We're the management team rides with the drivers to check on, you know, route status and safety concerns, things like that. Or maybe everything will go perfect on the route and we won't have anything to talk about. That'd be the ideal piece, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Next up, we're going to do food service, and it's worth just doing a quick update on food service at the same time. Jennifer Montague, who joined us in, I want to say October, as the director of food services, has a development in her life, and so she is moving out of Portland and across the country. And so one of the things that we know really great leaders do is also develop and build really strong teams. And so we're really excited about the work that Jen has done and on the team that is there. And one of the great pieces about that is that Tyler, who I think came to us originally as a chef and has experience in fine dining and in school districts and has been serving in the chef and assistant director role, and partially in that work increasing the amount of scratch or fresh cooking that is happening at our schools, has agreed to step in the interim. And in perfect timing, because nothing is as easy in food service as the start of the school year. And so excited to have Tyler to come in right on the hot seat and to share out updates on their department.
Good evening, board. I just want to say thank you to all of our food service staff. We recently just finished on August 8th serving 20,000 meals in our summer program that was across 15 locations throughout the district through community partners and then also our schools in general. Some summer highlights that I want to touch base on is we have, for the first in a long time, completed all of our 25-26 menus. Going forward through all grade levels, we will have a total of 25% of those meals be scratch made in some capacity. Many of them culturally relevant, making sure that we honor and support our school students in that way. We are looking and we are in the process of upgrading our software to Link software. It'll allow us to have online production records, create more streamlined systems, efficiencies, improve awareness on trends that we are seeing with the meal takes, and then also allowing us to look at that data for budgetary and reasons. Some challenges that we're facing, obviously with Jen Montague leaving, has been extremely hard, but I am going to take the reins and make sure that our staff feels supported during this transition. And then things to look forward to. This summer, we participated in Farm and Sea to School Institute in Saco, Maine. And we are recruiting anyone and from PPS teachers to community members to be a part of this. Goals through this initiative is creating healthy access, local procurement, equity, and wellness. We will continue to work towards this goal to reduce sugar in all of the meals, including breakfast options. And then we are going to have no chocolate milk for lunch in 2025-26, which will take away around a cup of sugar for each student in a meal in a given month. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. I think there are a couple of board members that are very excited about the loss of chocolate milk. Later on, we will survey their own children about their level of excitement on that. I'm now going to welcome up Haley Diedrichson, who is the Senior Director of Data and Technology. She gave me a look there about whether I got her title right. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. To talk about their department.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here today. So one important thing to celebrate that we're very excited about is we have brought on board this summer our new Director of IT, Brian Newcomb, who's also been helping with the AV equipment tonight alongside Greg, one of our technicians. So that is a big victory for our department. We're really glad to have him and his expertise on board. With him on board, we've been able to take on a number of big infrastructure projects in the the data and technology department. Some of our highlights include some major upgrades to our aging systems, including replacing a number of different schools' access points, the Wi-Fi points that are on the ceiling that allow us to have Wi-Fi in all of our buildings, as well as modernizing the network equipment for Peaks and Cliff Island. These investments will enable our schools to have more reliable internet service and fewer interruptions. And included in that infrastructure upgrade, we've also migrated all of our network systems onto a cloud-based monitoring system, which will allow our team to know in real time when there may be potential outages and be able to respond more quickly. In addition to those infrastructure investments, we've also been really focusing efforts on our cybersecurity, and we engaged with an external partner to engage in a cybersecurity audit, a comprehensive audit of our systems to identify potential vulnerabilities in our system so that we can create a plan to remedy those vulnerabilities. As part of that audit process, we have been given sort of a roadmap for our team so that we have a clear path forward to continue to invest and strengthen our position in terms of cybersecurity. And already this summer, the team has tackled a number of the areas identified through that audit process, and will be continuing to work through the fall to tighten and improve our security posture. As part of that cybersecurity work, one of the big initiatives we have rolling out this fall is a password reset process for all student passwords, which is quite the endeavor when working with students. And so the team has been working hard to make sure that that runs seamlessly on the first day of school. Another important project is the unified help desk system. So we've been actually working with a number of different departments, including multilingual, HR, finance, the enrollment team, as well as data and IT's help desk system to bring it all into a single help desk system. The idea behind this being, one, it will be a cloud-based system, so that protects us against potential outages when it's no longer running on our servers. But it also means that for staff in the district, it's a one-stop shop to get help. And so we've been able to streamline the process to reduce burden on staff who are seeking support from our central office teams. And another important project from the summer has really been restoring a legacy financial system that was taken offline in the event of our security incident in the spring. And so to be able to restore that data has been an endeavor, but it's a huge victory to bring that back online because now we have access to all of that historical data that is critical for understanding our financial systems. So I imagine that our other operations team has a similar challenge, which is, I think for data and technology, we are conscious of the vendor cost increases that are happening, I'm sure across the board, but in technology in particular, that is something that we are extremely conscious of. And so trying to be proactive at this moment in time to ensure that we can be anticipating those rising operational costs, as well as being really proactive with our vendors to renegotiate contracts now so that we can be in a position that is financially sustainable for the future. Another challenge, so sort of aside from the IT team's work, the data team has been hard at work getting our PowerSchool data dashboard up and running, and we've made tremendous progress. I have to say, compared to this time last year, we are in a completely different place. And with any technology or data system, there have been some challenges in getting everything to work as expected or intended, and part of that is connected to some of the underlying infrastructure and how data has been stored in our system historically. And so that proves to be a challenge, but one that has not deterred the data team who continues to trek along getting that system up and running for the fall. And then as far as things to look forward to, we have some exciting initiatives that are launching this fall. The first being our sort of multi-year plan to bring in upgraded devices for all staff with a shift to primarily relying on Chromebook Pluses where possible for staff. We're really excited because that allows us to introduce new Google class tools that really, I think, can bring technology to the forefront of instruction with intentionality. And to support that rollout plan, we have launched our Chromebassador program, which just launched last week. We have, I believe, 24 staff that will be serving as Chromebassadors, who will be sort of pilot testing these Chromebook Pluses, figuring out sort of how they work in an instructional setting, and learning together and figuring out how we can really leverage this tool to enhance and support student outcomes. In addition, we'll be launching the dashboard, the data dashboard district-wide, and I'm really excited to be able to work with lots of different users to strategize about how this really powerful tool can integrate into their day-to-day practice and decision-making. And then lastly, to support these new tools that we're rolling out into the ecosystem, we are building out a robust set of trainings and resources that will live on our staff hub to support staff as they use data and technology in their day practice. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. Last but not least is Lisa Beck, who's our Senior Director of Finance, who got to do their first Finance Committee presentation yesterday and today can provide the last of our department updates.
Good evening, everyone. The finance team was busy over the summer improving efficiency and accuracy of some of our systems and processes. So one of the major things we undertook was with our main PERS reporting. We have caught up the teacher and the PLD reporting submission to main PERS. We've created further automation within our payroll system and within the reporting to make sure that we do capture eligible earnings with less human intervention, which saves a lot of time and just improves accuracy overall and allows us to have a repeatable process going forward. We also set up the paid family and medical leave quarterly reporting and payments, which is a new requirement by the state that was implemented for this year. And benefits will begin next year, but we've already begun deducting from employees and making contributions this year. In addition, we introduced a new cost center structure into our ADP HR and payroll system, and have updated all employees to that new structure. This saves us about 16 hours of time every other week that we can employ to other supporting of the staff in the broader community. We've also made progress in documenting all of our internal controls, policies, and standard operating procedures and putting those up on our staff hub. One of the challenges we do continue to face is just being burdened with inefficient systems and processes. So some of the things you can look forward to us tackling this year is we are going to roll out some additional modules in our Munis financial system, one for purchasing credit cards and one for student activity accounts. We expect those to be live by the new year. We are going to increase communication and enhance training to both employees and their supervisors. And last, we are building a more robust budgeting process, which is aligned to Strategic Plan 5.4. And we are strengthening our month-end accounting close processes. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, Chair, we will yield the time back to you.
Beautiful. I just wanted to start with a huge thank you to all of you. This is my fourth version of this board meeting, and I just really recognize how many of you are not just stopping at what's good enough for our students, but really pushing all of our departments to be excellent. And that really came through in each of your presentations. And I'm incredibly grateful on behalf of all of our students and their families that you are setting us up for such a strong start to this year. So I would just invite the rest of the board to give a round of applause for all the work that's been happening. Thank you. And so with that, we'll go through for any questions that folks have. So we'll start with elementary schools. Sorry, did you have a?
That sounds perfect.
Elementary schools. Vice Chair Bondo, go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I just need to have some on the extended school year programs. Can you just, if you have that on the top of your mind, the most subject then we were focusing this time, this summer,
Mhm.
is between maths, social studies, language art. Which one
So-
was the most
So our
blended?
extended school year programs are the programs that are run through our special education students for students who qualify for additional services during the summer. So those are generally tailored to the needs of the students around their IEP goals. Our Learning Works programming, which is with our 21st Century Community Learning Center grant program that we have through the state. A couple things. Generally, that focuses on science topics, but this year, one of the things we did to increase the focus on literacy was to add a literacy program called Boost Reading that is part of one of our programs that we have. And so we were able to train some of the Learning Works staff in that program and ensure that students had time on that program as well this summer.
And then when they get support, do they receive some credit to move them? Because if we get support, if we get those programs because they need some support over the year, so teachers in the classroom, they recognized, then those specific students, they need some support during summer. So what we have as outcomes and results to show at the beginning of the year, then we have moved the needle. By
So every
supporting
year
those
for
students.
the Learning Works program, we do collect data on that. And we do that after our fall assessments. So I'll know more about like the actual data. And I myself am curious about like how our data might be stronger this year, given our around reading, given our incorporation of the reading program, because we didn't do that last summer. So that's something we'll be looking at, and I can bring that to the board.
Perfect. So the Mackin Vito student, we had some number who attended the extended program or not?
We would have had some, I don't know the percentage, but they would have been eligible and considered for our Learning Works programming. But I don't have the demographics offhand for that.
Can I follow that one? Yes, perfect. I'm making notes of that.
Yeah.
Right, thank
Yeah.
you. And the last question is on the discipline task force. And I remember last time when you presented, I put note on that. I didn't see a lot of BIPOC members, and our requests just recommended. If next time we can search, did we have any addition on some of the new members, or we kept the number? If I remember, it was 2 or 3 than we had last time among those 12 discipline task force.
So we did have some changes. I think we had about four or five, but we did have some changes like in the middle of the committee, which probably did increase that a small bit. But that, because the committee was established and it was really happened at the end of the year, we didn't make any major changes.
Okay.
We will engage all the staff at the schools around this in the fall.
Okay.
So, and we did have, we have gone to our multilingual center. They participated in one of our leader sessions where we introduced this to school leaders. So we did have some review that way.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr.
Board Member Brighton, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the information and presentation. Can you hear me? Okay, super. My question has to do with the CPI de-escalation training. I'm so excited to hear about the 5 staff trainers at the elementary level. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about how they're going to be leveraged, and specifically, are they going to be leveraged in repeatable scheduled ways, sort of ad hoc, and also just if you could talk a little bit about those 5 educators and how I assume there's been intentionality about making sure that their plates are not overly full, but just talk a little bit about that. That'd be great.
Sure. So whenever you sign up to be a trainer, you also sign up to offer at least 2 sessions of training during the year. And for the summer training with school leaders, we actually brought in trainers from CPI to deliver the training, and which also allowed our in-house trainers to kind of see how somebody who had done it before, how they delivered the training, and so gave them the opportunity before they had to go and do it on their own. A couple things. We have a training, the full training will be offered to staff. We had each building leader recommend a group of about 5 staff from their schools to receive the full training in verbal de-escalation and physical management. So each school will have a team of about 5 people that is trained, and we have a date set at the beginning of the school year where folks can receive that training. So that cadre, that core of trainers will be able to deliver that training to our in-house folks. We really think for that full training, we only need a team of about 5 people at each school with the full verbal de-escalation and physical management training. We also have all staff who will receive verbal de-escalation training, which has been developed by our CPI trained trainers. So they have developed the verbal de-escalation training that will be delivered to all staff in our schools in September. So, and then as far as like how are we going to use those trained trainers, we don't have the dates set yet. We are working with our student services department to map out that calendar. The discussions so far have talked about having another training in the fall, and then another set of trainings in January to account for any mid-year hires that we have. So, yeah.
Board Member Lena, go ahead.
Thank you. You said that there are 2 new special education classroom level. Can you tell us what they are and where they are?
Yes, so we are opening a specialized classroom at Reiki Elementary School, and that is based on the student needs in that school population. So we have been able to identify staff within some of our specialized programs and other programs that can be assigned to Reiki to support a group of students that have a higher level of need than what we might be able to serve in our regular resource room or included in the classroom. So that's why that program is being started there. There is still the opportunity for students at other schools, if the design of that program makes sense for them to go to Reiki instead of staying at their home school, that would be considered, but most of the students for the new Reiki program are coming from that community. And that's a similar case at the design of the Reiki program is a little bit of a kind of a mixed model, but with higher support. So I don't, and we also have a new specialized classroom going in at Presumpscot, also based mostly from the students who are in their community that had a higher level of need than the resource room was having. Most of the students in that program have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and so that program would be focused on supporting those students. So anyway, yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to move us to second. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. Go ahead, Board Member Sawtelle, and then we'll move to secondary education.
I was taking notes frantically, so this may not even have been you that said this, but did you say something about going from 2 PD sessions to 10 PD sessions on equity and diversity training? Was that something else?
That was something Dr. Scallon was referring
Sorry.
to, and that's okay. No, in reference to Strategic Initiative 1.1 and the work that we're doing around culturally responsive instruction.
And can you tell me then, and sorry to take your time, can you tell me like who's providing that training, what it would look like? Is that at all grade levels?
It's a mix. we have been partnering with the Leadership Academy, and they've been helping us build training that's specific to school leaders as well as professional learning that can then be integrated with our instructional work and our literacy work, our literacy coaching at the classroom level. And actually just today we had a professional development session with TLA for our operations directors. So we've been building out a strategy that works across different departments to make sure we're tailoring to people's needs. I would suggest that we could come back and talk about that at another meeting, but I don't want to go into too much detail and sidetrack us here.
Great, thanks.
No, great question. All right, we're going to go ahead and move to secondary schools.
All right, thank you.
Any questions about secondary schools for Dr. Ahmed, Vice Chair Bondo? Then we'll come down to Board Member Sata.
Thank you, and thank you, Dr. Ahmed, for the presentation. So I'll go back again for the 3 summer programs, the multilingual program, the credit recovery and intensive courses. Can you just let me know, are we going to measure those outcomes?
One is the first outcome to measure is like the access.
Okay.
So we will see the number of students who are accessing these programs.
Okay.
Another way is just to look into, as similar to what Dr. Atkins-Duina said, is looking on students who participated in these programs and in the classroom level with their teachers, and also in access scores and other measures, how they're doing. So something to look forward to, but so far the students who were accessing, there was some excitement and some good kind of data coming from. So
Okay, I didn't catch the last you just said.
the one I said next. So the students who accessed this program so
Okay.
far, they were excited about. There were students who were calling in the beginning of the summer multilingual program who wanted to be part of it and reaching out to the schools. So there was some excitement about how to get into it. So that is one data that it is really sought after, and the students are motivated about it. Another one is to see the outcomes when they go back to the classrooms, and also when they take the standardized testing.
So I'm going back again with my question, with all respect, Dr. Ahmed, is that I try to understand, we had those summer program, because it's like an extended program, right? I mean, some other teachers has requested that because some students have to have some recover credit and adding some more languages. So I'm just wonder, I heard what you said, but it's not really satisfying me to understand how the result, how those outcomes will play out to the success coming out to the new year. Just going back to the number of the student, because elementary school give some specific numbers. We got 80 coming to the extended program and 100 to the learning works. So that means we have a specific number of the students. So I wonder if we have the same thing with secondaries because we have a middle school and also high schools. And then if also schools, with all our schools have the most needed to have those programs. So I just want to get more clarification because this is so important. The secondary is so important. And I just wonder between the middle school and the high school, especially for the recovery credit and the multilingual,
So
are we going to get those evaluation right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. So there are two different things that the multilingual participation and access is based on students' access scores.
Mhm.
So students are recommended by their teachers to continue and prevent, summer kind of or recession or going back to also for during the summer or losing learning. So that are different than the credit recovery programs. So the credit recovery are students who are recommended to recover credit because they, when in the spring or in the fall, they took course and they were close and they need to cover some standards so that they can get the credit. So that program is different than the multilingual program. So that's another program. So also at the Casco Bay, they have some intensives where more is credit recovery as well as acceleration, or they can take some classes as well. So as far as the data and there are some programs that is still going on. The summer breach is not conclusive yet. So that's why I said in the future, maybe sometime in September, there will be a comprehensive kind of presentation of the summer programs that we will be sharing with you all.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Board Member Sawtelle, go ahead.
Hi, again, I take notes really fast. You were talking about advisory at secondary schools, and are you saying that that's going to be more standardized across the district? Because it's very different from school to school, as we know. And then you had mentioned, I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, something about a base lesson.
Yeah.
So could you just explain that to me?
Yes. So you're right. The advisory programs in our secondary schools, they were like from 7 minutes homeroom to 10 minutes to 15 minutes to 40 minutes. So they were all over. This year, we will be standardizing this and at least weekly minimum of 40 minutes of advisory class. In that, there will be the base is part of the 7 mindset kind of and base education is a social emotional curriculum that we were using. Actually, it is not the first time, but it was used for tier 2 when the students get in trouble. They were taking base lessons in some of our secondary schools. So, but this is mental health based as well as social emotional based approach. So the students will at least have monthly 2 base lessons, and the high school teams came together and they identified what these 2 lessons will be for 9th grade, what will be for 10th grade, what it will be for 11th grade. The same thing, like what it will be for 6th grade, what it will be for 7th and 8th. So we are in alignment to deliver these lessons and at least 2 lessons monthly. Also, our own choreographers is really been very supportive, providing some digital literacy for last year, and some of our middle schools adopted that and they delivered. So this is also going to be more aligned, and we will be delivering this as well. So yes, we are going to more alignment for equitable access of our and also more preventative and rather than corrective. Something happened, now you have to take this lesson and you were vaping in the bathroom, you need to take a vape lesson rather than being preventative enough and having the lessons before that. So yes, we are going more as for alignment.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on secondary schools? Yeah, go ahead, Student Representative O'Brien.
Thank you. I assume that PATH students will receive this unified advisory experience at their sending school, like if they're PPS students.
Yes.
And how are we ensuring that they have access to this time? Just between the AM and PM, oftentimes students don't have a period for that.
And
Like I'm an afternoon student. I don't have access to advisory currently at my sending school.
yeah, and that's been challenging for for PATH students participate some important things that are going either whether it is the learning center or period 5 in Portland High School. So I acknowledge that, and it will be something that we will be talking to these 2 schools to tailor something for the students who are going to PATH. So thank you for asking this. And
All right, any other questions for secondary schools? Yeah, go ahead, Student Representative Lee.
Yeah, just asking about the unifying of the length of advisories for secondary schools. I feel like I maybe misheard you. I assume that if you said something about 40-minute advisories, would those just be on the days where there's these new SEL lessons?
So schools actually can have more periods of advisory, but the minimum we're talking about, just like every school should have at least one period where there should be 40 minutes. So some schools have like check-in 7 minutes on Monday, but the 40 minutes will fall on Wednesday. So but a weekly 40 minutes minimum.
But it's only on Wednesday.
The schools
whatever
may be
day they
different. Yeah.
choose.
Yeah. But 40 minutes a week. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to take one last question and then we're going to move on to family and community engagement. Go ahead, Board Member Opperman.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. Excuse me. I was wondering about the protocols for the progressive discipline that you're working through and all, and I don't need to know all of them here at this time, but where can we access those to know what is thought of as a protocol at the middle school or at the high school?
Yeah. So the work was initiated with the with the task force, and then our leaders actually spent some time looking into it and developmentally appropriate interventions. But some infractions, middle school and the high school may be closer to, but the way they there's a consistency among the grade levels. So the high school team came up with a version appropriate for the high school, and middle school came with a version appropriate with the middle school. It is very much, there is no discrepancy. Like you come from 8th grade and you'll go to the 9th grade, and then there won't be like another different treatment. It will be some alignment, but also it's age appropriate.
But I was wondering what the treatment is. I mean, is there if a new teacher comes in, is there a handbook?
Yes.
That it's so it's something that we could actually have access to as well.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
that would be
definitely.
I would like to have access
Yes,
to that.
and it
please.
will be a community-facing one, and it will be also published in the family handbooks as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. We're going to move on to family and community engagement. Any questions from the board? Vice Chair Bondo, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I heard you mention about calling family for the housing status. Do we know how many families do we have right now in McInvito so far?
I don't have the exact number at this time. I can give you that to you, but we had about over 400 calls that we made. Whether or not they're still McInvento for starting July 1st is something that I have to get back to you on.
Okay, so we're working on the number because we have now the fully staff for to work on the project. So we just don't know exactly how many families are we going to work with, right? Or it's still ongoing?
No, we know that. I just don't have the number, the exact number to give you about how many currently moving forward, starting this new school year, how many are McInvento students. But the grant, sorry.
That's what I was going to ask. If you can just clarify who the grant serves, that'd be helpful.
The grant serves everybody who are in the verge of, not just the homeless already, but also people who may be families who are on the verge of being evicted or in danger of losing their permanent housing. So it's a broader number that we serve. It's not just the McInvento numbers.
Okay, but did we have any, because I asked Dr. Atkinson about the McInvento students participating during summer. I know it's so important for them. Do we have any who were able to participate or not?
It depends on the school and the grade level, but yes, whatever the schools are offering, those are also offered to our McInvento students.
Can I have, if you don't mind, some follow-up on the numbers? I just wonder, because those kids, they really need some support, so I just wonder how many of them they were able to access those opportunities during summer.
And just so you know, they're not just our summer school, there are also summer opportunities available in other community organizations such as Boys and Girls Club.
Right, okay. So the Parent U University, I've been really a fan of that. So, but I would just wonder if this time, because we're going to invest for new topics and themes, is going to be so interesting. So I just wonder if we're building different strategies to do the outreach, because the thing that I know, the multilingual department, they just don't represent all the parents in the district. So are we building different strategy to do the better outreach so we can engage more parents?
That's part of the plan for the next school year. Yes, we'll see the result when when we have all of these activities that we have for the next school year. We have the way that one of the things that we do for approaches is we offer virtual sessions and we also offer in-person approaches. Currently, we have sessions that happen at the 5:30 dinner prep time, around that time of day, and we know that that's not good for some of the families. So we also have done for this summer, we have been doing our parent meetings for multilingual families at least during the day to access families or parents who are working the second shift.
Okay. My last question is about the fully staff from that grant. Do we have all the staff multilingual? That means speaking all different languages than we need or not?
We actually have an opening. So people, if right now we are looking for a Portuguese, because we're missing that we are missing one person for that full-time position for family and community specialist speaking Portuguese.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Other questions? Board Member Lena and then Board Member Bryden.
Thank you. I was wondering about the community engagement session that you mentioned at Rowe Elementary. I believe you said it was August 21st. I went to the district calendar just to double check that I wrote down the correct date. And also there was another one that you mentioned and I didn't see it on the calendar. So I wanted to make sure that
we have not put them in the calendar just yet. It's in our internal calendars at the moment, but not out yet. But the multilingual ones, we sort of like do invitations for that because not a lot of people check our calendar. So we do that through WhatsApp. We send it different ways of board member Bondo was saying, different ways of approaching different people. So one of the things that we do is communicate with them via WhatsApp is when we send out invitations for this informational meetings.
I think it's important to have it on the calendar too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Board Member Bryden.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. Valenzuela. Now I have two follow-up questions. My first follow-up question is, when can we expect to see those things on the calendar?
We will do that as soon as staff comes back. Yeah. Next week. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And then my other question is a follow-up question to the conversation that just happened where Vice Chair Bondo was asking about Parent University, and you were talking about, trying to find different times of day that, are more palatable for different family structures and things like that. So I just have a confirmation question, that being, are those sessions recorded and then made available?
Yes.
On demand?
Yes.
Super.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
we post them right after on the website. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to move us on to facilities. Thank you, Dr. Valenzuela. Oh, did I miss HR? I apologize because it was Ryan and not.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So HR. Any questions about HR? Yeah. Board Member Sawtelle, go ahead.
My question or my note was just about the recruitment /stay/exit surveys. Whoever's doing those, I would encourage you to consider interviews instead, phone calls. Teachers are surveyed to death and you won't get an honest response probably, and you won't get as high a response as if somebody said, hey, can I call you 10 minutes, when's your planning period, or, buy you a cup of coffee or something. Yeah. that's just a suggestion.
Thank you, Board Member Sawtelle. Other questions? Yeah, Board Member Upperman?
Well, I would just agree with Board Member Sawtelle that the multitude of surveys is something that teachers just kind of go, and they may either not respond or whatever. So I don't, however, to get people more engaged would be great. I do have another question though, and it has to do with HR and hiring of special ed and trying to find a pipeline, much like trying to do with transportation. Are we, is that a wish or is that something that's actually being worked on?
So it is in the strategic plan to do design work around, whether that is a ed tech to special education teacher piece, which we do provide some classes and training for in that pipeline. But it's in the design phase to fully flush it out, exactly what it looks like. So we can almost be self-sustaining with our pipeline there. But we are not there now.
I was just wondering whether we were approaching universities.
That is part of it. Part of it's about approaching universities for their like overall partnership as well as a potential residency program. Just on the question of the surveys, the intention is to do both interviews and surveys. There's a reality that the slide before, where the first bullet highlights 516 employees in the processing, it is not possible to do interviews for all of those. And so the talk that HR has had is how to offer the survey to everybody. It also allows for anonymity if somebody would prefer that, and to then do targeted interviews. Exactly how targeted gets identified, I'll defer to them on that. But to be able to be strategic about where we use that resource to have those conversations.
Any other questions about HR? All right, then now we're going to move to facilities. Board Member Lena?
Hi, I have a question specifically about Row. You said that there was a quick turnaround doing work there. Did you do HVAC work there? And my specific question is, I know that when the building was built, they did not install any air conditioning upstairs. And I know that's been an ongoing issue of just, it's very, very hot up there and the individual classrooms have portable ACs that don't do anything.
So we just took over the HVAC in July.
Okay.
And that, so no HVAC work has been done at.
It was more just like the cleaning was the quick turnaround thing. Okay.
Yeah, the cleaning and just getting all the spaces with all those programming there ready for school start.
And you did say that you did update HVAC systems in 5 places. Where was that?
Correct. So Paths is one, King Middle School and Moore Middle School. So there's more in our design to do more at other schools, but.
Awesome. I think the board is very interested in the HVAC, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So a bunch of nerds that we are. No, but just really excited and also just like feel the difference in this room right now in a big way. Anybody else? Yeah, Board Member Sawtelle, go ahead.
I want to apologize to the other board members. I'm really new here, so a lot of this is just me not knowing anything. What happens when a vape sensor goes off?
So the vape sensor installs are new and we have not, they're not even online yet. They'll be ready for school. When they go off, we set up notifications, either email or principal cell phones, and it will just say where it went off, what time it went off, what kind of sensor went off. So we can do, the vape sensors can do like 20 different things. We're just implementing like THC vape at this point. But it can also do like trigger words, or it can show how many people are in the bathroom at one time. There's lots of things that the vape sensors can do.
Wow. Okay. And what's a trades worker?
A maintenance technician. We call them skilled trades workers. So.
Thank you.
Such a better title for what they do. That's great. Any other questions about facilities? Yeah, Board Member Fitzgerald, go ahead.
So you said you had to take it over from the city. Is that true? Why did you have to take it over from the city?
Well, so we took it over just to have more transparency in the HVAC. So the city had been running it for, I don't even know how long, quite a long time. And just to get transparency on costs, and we didn't feel like things were being done efficiently. We weren't in the know on most of the items. They kind of were just doing it independently.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I just wanted to know for sure. Another thing, I guess it's more like a comment rather than a question, but you talked about like the beautification of the central office. And I really like the idea of beautification because it's normally not just like an external idea, it's like an internal idea, like beautification both ways. And I think that Portland High School, you also said you mentioned something about Portland High School. What was done to Portland? Was it the front?
Yeah, the facade at the very top,
Mhm.
all that was like crumbling and falling. And so we recast it and remade all the stones and stuff up there. If you look up, you'll definitely be able to tell.
I will. But I was just wondering, well, I mean, I guess we'll have to talk about it more, but like maybe send that like loose $500,000 can like work together almost to like beautify Portland or like update its facilities a little bit because I don't know, just I wouldn't say there's been like complaints, but it's just something I feel like could really elevate the school. So rather than it's not a question, but kind of just like a comment. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Student Representative Fitzgerald. And I would just also invite you to come to Finance and Operations Committee because they talk about like a master plan of our facilities that kind of is like the plan around that. But also just like having gone to several schools in the last week, like it is really cool to see little pops of color that haven't existed before and just how like a new coat of paint really does brighten up the space. So just thank you to you and your team for getting all of that done. Any other questions for facilities? And then we're going to move on to transportation. All right, transportation, thank you. Questions about transportation? Vice Chair Bondo, go ahead.
That's me. Thank you for the
Hi.
presentation. So I'm so excited for my ride K-12. So I'm just wonder if the app will be in different languages or just going to be English.
Yeah, so the directions that are going to go out to everybody will be in English, French, and Spanish. Those are the three that Tyler Tech had for
So are
us.
we thinking for the future to add different because we have some Portuguese is a high number. They are not speaking French. So just wonder,
Yeah,
Spanish
we
and
can.
Portuguese, they are no really close by. They are
Yeah,
try
we
to
can
be,
send
but
it.
not really. Just wonder if we going to add some more languages in the future.
We can.
Okay.
Well, and then just to be clear, as I understand it, we're using Tyler Technologies,
okay.
which is the software. And unfortunately, that software has those three languages right now available.
Okay. All right then. Thank you. That's all I want to know. Thanks.
Board Member Bryden?
Thank you, Chair. I am so excited to hear about the, one if that vacancy to start the year. Congratulations. That must have been a lot of hard work and thank you for that. My question has to do with, and this is actually, we were just talking about the HVAC and the city interaction. I noticed on the slide where it mentioned that summer involved school bus transportation services for rec. And so I'm curious about that interaction. And this might not be a question for you specifically, but more broadly in terms of how we interact with the city, in terms of whether there's an MOU in place and those sorts of things. I'm curious to better understand whether it was district buses, district staff transporting kids for the city's rec program, and just to better understand how that works.
Yeah, so we don't provide transportation for the kids to get to rec, but
Okay.
rec basically uses 3 of our buses and 3 of our drivers, and then we invoice them for mileage and
Field trip.
hours at the end
During
of
the day. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Board Member Sautel, go ahead.
I got little kids on buses for 20 years. The pre-K kindergarten swipe cards, is a great idea for keeping track of kids, but it sounds like a logistical nightmare. Has a plan been developed for that? Are teachers supposed to keep track? Like they'll give the kids a card when they leave? Are parents supposed to keep track?
Cards, can you go into the logistical nightmare a little more?
I'm just envisioning a kindergarten teacher with 18, 5 and 6-year-olds trying to get on various buses at the end of the night and trying to hand out cards, and they're trading cards, and then they get on the bus and swipe them and drop them on the bus floor or chew on them.
No, the cards are going to be affixed to the backpacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they're assigned to them. Yeah. Yeah.
Good solution.
Just to be clear, they'll still chew on them. So
Yeah, and this is also like a different iteration of what we used this year. So they've already had like some practice on this system. So that should give a hit the ground running.
Yeah, and we're iterating as we go, but we identified pre-K and kindergarten as our top priority initially because the little ones are not supposed to get off the bus without an adult present, and we have, bigger concerns about potentially, a safety issue with them. But ultimately, if this system works well and we can figure it out, we will potentially expand it to other grade levels as well.
All right. Also just exciting news about getting all of our services in district. Like that is a huge efficiency in terms of cost and management. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. I think we can move to food service now. Thank you. Any questions for food service? Oh, you might be lucky, Tyler. Okay, Board Member Opperman, go ahead.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Which day has the best lunch in what grade level?
That is a very tricky one, and I think it all depends on your own personal preference. My personal favorite, I would say, is the jerk chicken with dirty rice and also roasted plantains. But then you
Which
could also
day is that?
that day is actually the third Friday in September.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other yeah, no, my kiddo's super excited about the orange chicken. I hope that that is still on the menu. But it is really cool to see kids be so excited about school lunch. And I just know that so many parents are going to be so relieved to hear about the decreased sugar in the breakfast food. So I appreciate that attention. And not the chocolate milk. I'm going to hear about that all year, but that's fine. Technology, what do we got? Yes. Ms. Bondo, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So the Power School dashboard, and that's so exciting that. So I just wonder, each our building, we have their own dashboards, right?
It's a unified
Is it unified?
dashboard, but different users will have different configurations based on their role. It aligns to their Infinite Campus
Okay.
permissions.
Okay, perfect. So how often the data will be collected?
Pardon?
How often the data will be collected?
It's synced nightly, so it will be real-time data, which we've
Okay.
never had before.
For them at once?
For
For all of them at once?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we are prepared, right? No crash, anything. When you get all information come at once, I'm just
Yeah. So, without going too deep into the technical side of it, our Infinite Campus student information system lives on a server that has a direct connection to PowerSchool's system. And so there's a nightly sync that's happening on servers outside of our own. So,
Okay.
of course, there's always, I guess, some risk of crash, but given the sort of size of PowerSchool and the support we have from Infinite Campus, I think that is highly unlikely. So yeah, it's a pretty seamless process. And that nightly sync is really a game changer for accessibility.
Exactly. Good to know. Thank you so much.
Board Member Rapperman, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. As a teacher, I used Power School and the multiple levels of information you can put into it and extract and connect and all. At what level are we doing it in our curriculum area?
For the committee's work or just for teachers?
What's going to be, as far as if I was a teacher
Oh, sure.
and I had this dashboard, what on that, how would I think it just standards?
Yeah.
Does it automatically, do I have to go put in information?
No, I mean, I could nerd out about this, but
Yeah.
so
Right.
what's really cool about the dashboard is it's built to be able to look at data at different levels. So we have a combination of charts and tables that will be at the district or the school level. And so for building leaders or district leaders being able to look at trend level data, but then for classroom teachers, for example, or instructional coaches, they can actually drill down to the individual student level. And what one of the really exciting features about this PowerSchool dashboard, because it's an overlay on our Infinite Campus system, what it does is it takes lots of different types of information about an individual student and creates a student profile so that you can easily see for that individual student their behavior data, their attendance data, their academic data, their assessment data, and it's all on one page. So a teacher could actually easily pull up, for example, in a, parent-teacher conference so that they have the students' whole academic history, their enrollment history, their attendance history all in one place. And it not only has the current year's data available, but historic data as well. So you can look at trends over time for that individual student. And so all of the configurations will sort of match to the person's role. So a teacher can see a different amount of information than, say, a building leader.
And it goes K-12.
Yep, K-12 or PK-12. Yeah, so anyone that's in Infinite Campus. And it's interactive. And so for someone who really wants to do a deep data dive, they can start at the district trend level and then sort of click into the graphs and go deeper and deeper into the data set to get to the individual student level.
In order to keep FERPA things going on. So if a committee was looking at data, what level and what level of privacy is maintained?
Yeah, so to be in compliance with FERPA, we limit access to individual student information to individuals that would be sort of directly working with those students, whether that be a classroom teacher or a building leader. So at sort of a committee level, we would keep it to the school or district level trends for the sake of student privacy. Or grade level, yes. So we can disaggregate, but we want to keep the information about individual students private. So yeah.
Thank you. Will parents be able to access any of that at some point?
The parents won't have direct access to the PowerSchool dashboard at this point in time. We're launching it and letting it exist in the world, and we're going to sort of gather feedback over the course of the fall and then start to create a roadmap for additional customizations or additional features that we might want to invest in. But at this time, no, parents cannot access it. They can still get all of their students' information in the Infinite Campus parent portal, but it's not as pretty.
Thank you. I've got one question and then we'll come to you, which is, during a lot of our community conversations around cell phones, a lot of parents just expressed concern about any phone outages or, Wi-Fi's down, which I appreciate that we're investing in that hardware. But I'm also just curious, and this is probably for you, Superintendent, as well, if we could just start counting any incidents. I know we started to do that more formally mid last year, but I would love to see that data and also to be able to communicate that to the community. So just an ask for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the IT team also has been working on building out a sort of a backup plan to ensure that consistent dial tone at all times, regardless of outages. So yes, and it's going to probably vary by building, but there will be a district level approach to ensuring consistent phone access. Yes.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you. And Student Representative Fitzgerald, go ahead.
Hi, it's a really short question, but I'm just wondering if students have any new features, I guess, on the PowerSchool dashboard, if they get access to anything else.
So students will not have access to the PowerSchool data dashboard. They'll still have access to the Infinite Campus portal so they can view their own information. But it's a good question about whether or not this would be a tool that might have relevance or interest to individual students. It's all data that is technically accessible through Infinite Campus. Again, it's sort of just a less pretty version and a slightly sort of more aggregate presentation.
I was just thinking about the graphs that you were talking about of like trends, I guess, for like their tests or whatever or anything like that. I feel like that would just be interesting for some students to look at. I don't know. I feel like I would have liked that just thinking about maybe next year or something.
Thanks. I think it's helpful.
Awesome. And I think we'll move to finance, our last category. Thank you, Haley. Board Member Bryden, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much for your presentation. So it's actually not a question, I just have a comment because I feel like one of your updates didn't get the glory that I feel like the chocolate milk update really sort of just overshadowed everything. But the bullet point about documenting SOPs, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just was so excited to see that. Thank you for your work.
Thank
That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Awesome. Other questions for finance? Board Member Sato?
I may be asking the wrong person. Is your department the right place to go with a question about purchasing orders, like teacher supplies?
Yes.
I heard from a former colleague that for purchasing orders, they're supposed to get like 3 quotes. As a former music teacher, like that would be impossible. They're like publishing music, like only J.W. Pepper publishes some things you can't get a quote from other places. So is there a way to sort of bypass that?
Portland Public Schools falls within the city of Portland's purchasing requirements. And so we do have to follow that statute, which does require 3 quotes for purchases over 1,000. But there is an allowance within the statute if you can only find the item at a single vendor to not have to meet that 3 quote requirement.
And so just to like put an emphasis on this, there's different guidelines of what needs to happen depending on different cuts of purchase. So the 3 quotes, can you just walk through the different cuts in the general guidance from the city?
Yes. So under 1,000, you're free to use any of our approved vendors who are established with the district. Over 1,000, you have to get 3 quotes to determine which vendor is the best fit. And at 25,000, then you're required to competitively bid that purchase, meaning we have to open it to the public for anyone who wants to provide a bid or a proposal. And we have to choose that vendor in a fair and competitive way, which doesn't necessarily mean price alone. There are other items that we can use, such as experience, quality, etc. But we do have to have it open to the public.
And then just to be further on this, within those thresholds, there are certain exceptions or practices that exist that recognize that it may not be possible. And so Board Member Sawtelle, your example of music only being available through one publisher, where we can document that, then we're able to not have to go and get 3 competitive bids when 2 of them cannot actually do it. But these are all guidance and guidelines that are put out by the city that we then need to follow, and that to Board Member Bryden's piece, we've really worked to codify and make sure people are clear on, because what was sometimes happening actually is we had the policy that we had to follow because it's the city policy and nothing's changed about our requirement to fall within it, but we haven't enforced it. And so that actually really breaks down our financial controls. And so we're trying to do it on the finance side where it's about both following financial controls and making it as efficient and streamlined a process as possible for staff so that they're able to spend their time focused on teaching students or leading schools and not purchasing. But there's like this like tension that we have to like wrestle with at points.
And I just had a question. So the P cards and student activities, the modules, like, because those are the 2 categories that keep coming up in the audit, right?
That's
And
correct.
so like Munis will then be able to handle those. Is that the idea, that it will be inside of Munis as opposed to us doing it externally?
It will be in Munis as opposed to other external systems or spreadsheets, which allows us to implement things like approval workflows, we have more oversight at a district level because we can actually see that data because it's not sitting on a spreadsheet that's out on somebody's computer, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Beautiful. And do we think that that will be implemented and working well enough by the time of the next audit, or are we hesitant to?
Yeah, I mean, the audit is already underway, although it won't finish until February timeframe.
Okay.
So, and let's just like spell that out a little bit more just for clarity for people watching at home. So the P cards or purchasing cards and the student activity accounts are two of the audit findings that have a history. There are some others in terms of payroll controls that we've also made progress on. When you have an audit, your audit is always historical looking. So if we put in place a new practice today and get audit findings tomorrow, it will only be looking at the previous fiscal year. And so when Lisa said that the audit is ongoing right now, we have just started into fiscal year 26. The audit is getting performed on all the practices in 25. And so this board will receive that final audit in February or March. We typically do it with the city, and it'll be looking back to 25. So we should not expect that it says that purchasing cards and student activity accounts have checked the box. And let's just forecast one more year forward, just to be overly explicit. We're right now starting fiscal year 26. We are working to put these practices in place and sort of going to that spirit that Board Member Sawtelle said about making sure that it's effective and not overly onerous on schools. We're trying to make sure that we have the right timeline to do this well, because we could just turn off student activity accounts tomorrow and meet much more of the spirit of the financial controls, and that would have pretty debilitating impact on our schools. And so it is likely that these modules will be in place around the new year, calendar new year. And so that means that when you receive the audit for fiscal year 26, which will come out in March of 27, it will highlight that this was an area where progress was made, but for half the year, not the full year.
Thank you for that clarity. Appreciate it. Any other questions for finance? All right. Well, thank you all for all of these updates and for entertaining all of our questions. I know there were a few things that needed to be followed up on, and we will do that. We're going to go ahead and go through personnel, and then we'll take a short recess before new business and then executive session. So for personnel, up first, do you want to talk about probationary staff, Superintendent?
Yeah, so in front of you tonight, you have for consideration and action to approve personnel items. I'm just going to first talk at a high level. So we're trying to get to a spot where we are sharing with you all hires. In past practice of this board has just been around credentialed employees. So meaning teachers, leaders, school leaders. And so what you'll see tonight is 4 items, one for probationary teachers. The second is for 1 year only, then for school administrators, and then fourth is for all of our other hires. And in some cases, you will see individuals that are not new to the district, but are in fact shifting positions, or in a couple of cases, simple adjustments to their title. And so with that, you will also see in Diligent, which is the new board docs, you'll see 2 links. You'll see the original draft and then the updated. And we do that so that we can share with you something on Thursday before the board meeting. And then we update it either the morning of or the Monday before, just so you have the most up to date.
Beautiful. And so Superintendent, do you want to talk through each of these categories as we get there, or do you feel like you've spoken to all of them and you're kind of over?
So on, I'm happy to go through really quickly on this. So on the personnel probationary teachers, you will see 2 groups effective 8/18. So those are individuals that start on a 193-day contract. And so they're listed for 8/18 for a start date. And then the other probationary teachers are listed for 8/25, which is the first day back for our staff.
Beautiful. So would I have a motion for the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, the election of teacher candidates probationary? Thank you, Board Member Opperman. Is there a second? Thank you, Board Member Bryden. Are there any questions from the board? Any discussion from the board? We don't do public comment on personnel issues. Then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, election of teacher candidates probationary. Dr. Warren?
Member Ali. Member Yusra Ali,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo,
Yes.
Member Bryden,
Yes.
Member Lena, Member Noor,
Yes.
Member Opperman,
Yes.
Member Sawtell,
Yes.
Student Representative Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Student Representative Kantiba, Student Representative Lee,
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien,
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler, Chair Lenz.
Yes, so the motion passes unanimously with the students voting with the majority. Up next, we have teacher candidates 1 year only. Superintendent?
Yes, so we're presenting to you tonight 5 staff for 1 year only. The reason that a staff member may come in on 1 year only is oftentimes where they are filling in for somebody else who is on a leave. And so we just want to be really transparent where that position may be for 1 year only. Oftentimes, and as you can see here where we have elementary teachers, whether there is an opening at another school or not, they could potentially shift, but their starting is at 1 year only.
Thank you. So do I have a motion for the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, election of teacher candidates 1 year only? Thank you, Vice Chair Bondo. Do I have a second? Thank you, Board Member Ali. Any questions or discussion from the board? Seeing none, then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, election of teacher candidates 1 year only.
Member Ali, Member Yusra Ali,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo,
Yes.
Member Bryden,
Yes.
Member Lena, Member Noor,
Yes.
Member Opperman,
Yes.
Member Sawtell,
Yes.
Student Representative Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Student Representative Kantiba, Student Representative Lee,
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien,
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler, Chair Lentz.
Yes, so the motion passes unanimously with the students voting with the majority. And up next, we have school administrators.
Yes, so here you have 5 individuals who started on July 1 and 2 individuals that started August 1st as per the board's resolution to allow administration to hire during the July recess.
Beautiful. So do I have a motion for the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, school administrators? Thank you, Board Member Upperman. Is there a second? Board Member Bryden, any questions or discussion from the board? All right, then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, school administrators.
Member Ali, Member Yusra Ali,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo,
Yes.
Member Bryden,
Yes.
Member Lena, Member Noor,
Yes.
Member Opperman,
Yes.
Member Sawtell,
Yes.
Student Representative Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Student Representative Kantiba, Student Representative Lee,
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien,
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler, Chair Lentz.
Yes, so the motion passes unanimously with the students voting with the majority. And then our last item in personnel, all the other personnel items. Superintendent?
You pretty much captured it there. So these are the other individuals that were hired or moved positions that are not teachers or school leaders.
Beautiful. And I think we mentioned this early, but there's no legal binding for us to accept these. This is more just like that we have received and acknowledged the information around these staff members. So with that, do I have a motion for the consideration and discussion of all these personnel items? Thank you, Board Member Bryden. Is there a second? Thank you, Board Member Noor. Any questions or discussion from the board? I just really appreciate that that we're getting this list. I think it also helps with salary transparency and being able to really look at all of our units and non-represented units across the board. So I just appreciate the transparency. Any other questions or discussion from the board? Then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the consideration and discussion of all other personnel items.
Member Ali, Member Yusra Ali,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo,
Yes.
Member Bryden,
Yes.
Member Lena,
Yes.
Member Noor,
Yes.
Member Opperman,
Yes.
Member Sautel,
Yes.
Student Representative Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Student Representative Katiba, Student Representative Lee,
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien,
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler, Chair Lentz.
Yes, so the motion passes unanimously with the students voting with the majority. And on that, I move to take a 10-minute recess. Actually, let's make it 12 minutes so we come back right at 8:30. Yeah, we'll see you in 12 minutes. Back from recess now. We have a couple of points of new business tonight. First, we have a request for a Cliff Island School Day change, and then we have a first read of Policy BDE. I will note that the request is to do the first and second read of the Cliff Island schedule change. So I will lead us through that procedurally to see if we can do that tonight. But I would be, I don't know who is going to speak to this motion. Dr. Warren.
I'm going to start, and if you don't mind, Chair, I will do that from my seat, and then I will also invite Dr. Atkinson-Duena to speak to this as well. I just need to project if I can get. Okay. So, as you mentioned, Chair, this is a request ideally to get approved this evening, just given the time sensitivity. And this was looked at by our board policy committee yesterday evening and approved to be moved on to the full board this evening. And I'm going to let Dr. Atkinson-Duena say a little bit about why the request is coming.
Thank you. So the main reason for this request is that it would allow us to support the Cliff Island teacher better. That we have a new teacher out on Cliff Island this year. That's the first time in like 6 or 7 years that we've had a new teacher on Cliff Island. And so making this change will allow that teacher to participate in our Wednesday PD sessions. And it will also, it lines them up with the peaks, the current peak schedule, so that they can more easily participate in any staff meetings and things like that that happen at peaks. They most likely attend virtually, but it does make all of that possible. The other thing that it does is it does increase instructional time by a bit for our Cliff Island students.
Beautiful. So then I would be looking for a motion to approve the change in the Cliff Island school day schedule to one, actually, so let me read what the motion is, and then we will do whether or not we will vote on it tonight, and then I'll actually look for the motion. So apologies for that. So that was the first read of the request to change the Cliff Island school day schedule to 8:20 a.m. start and having the early release day on Wednesday at 12:20. I would now be looking for a motion to fast track this piece of new business to its second read tonight. Thank you, Board Member Lena. Is there a second? Thank you, Board Member Bryden. Are there any questions from the board on the motion to fast track this piece of new business to second read? Any public comment? Any general discussion from the board? Then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of fast tracking this request for the change in the Cliff Island school day schedule whether you're in favor of that. So Dr. Warren, go ahead and call the roll, please.
Member Ali, Member Yusra Ali,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo,
Yes.
Member Bryden,
Yes.
Member Lena,
Yes.
Member Noor,
Yes.
Member Opperman,
Yes.
Member Sautel,
Yes.
Student Representative Fitzgerald, Student Representative Katiba, Student Representative Lee,
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien,
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler, Chair Lentz.
Yes, so the motion passes unanimously. So now I would be looking for a motion to approve the change in the Cliff Island school day schedule to 8:20 a.m. start and early release on Wednesdays at 12:20. Thank you, Board Member Opperman. Is there a second? Board Member Lena, are there any questions from the board on this motion? Any public comment? Just double check that we don't have anybody on Zoom. I see no one on Zoom. Any general discussion from the board on this motion? Then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the change in the Cliff Island school day schedule to 8:20 a.m. start and early release on Wednesdays at 12:20. Dr. Warren, will you please call the roll?
Member Ali, Member Yusra Ali,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo,
Yes.
Member Bryden,
Yes.
Member Lena,
Yes.
Member Noor,
Yes.
Member Opperman,
Yes.
Member Sawtelle,
Yes.
Student Representative Fitzgerald, Student Representative Kintiba, Student Representative Lee,
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien,
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler, Chair Lentz.
Yes, so that motion passes. Thank you so much for that. And then we have our first read of Policy BDE, which is standing committees, special committees, and citizen advisory panels. I'm not sure who wants to speak to that. Dr. Warren? Who you were pointing at? Okay.
I can start us out, and then you may want to add a little bit. So let me just share. Sorry, I'm switching between vote screens and presentation. Okay. So again, this is one that the policy committee looked at yesterday evening in its committee meeting and voted to pass through to the full board for consideration. And just a note that often when we're showing you a policy for updates and revision, we show you a lot of red lines. In this case, there were so many red lines and red ink that we just almost started over effectively. So this is a clean version of the new proposed policy. And it is reflective of the proposed new structure that the board has discussed and wanted to move towards. So essentially, this is updating the policy to align to what the board has chosen to do. There's, as you can see here, first a section that lays out the role and tries to clarify a little bit more the role of our committees and the standing committees. So that's section 1. You see the role of the members in the committee itself. And then it goes into a lot more detail around each of the committees and what their roles are, committee by committee. So finance, personnel, and operations, which is not a new committee. That's how it has been. But there has been a proposed split between policy and curriculum and student success. So those were one combined committee last year. Some of the thinking behind this is just to create more time and space to focus on each of these items. With policy, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, not only in terms of updating and writing new required policies, but also just reviewing and cleaning up a lot of policies that haven't been looked at in a number of years. And curriculum and student success is the heart of the work and the heart of the strategic plan in many ways. And so that would allow for more time for that committee to focus on those issues. And then public and legislative affairs used to be called public affairs, but this is calling out a focus on the legislative affairs component. And when you see appointments, that is a committee that essentially meets and functions on an as-needed basis when there's a need to identify candidates to serve on a special advisory board or committee. And then the other category notes the Dropout Prevention Task Force, which is something that our lawyers have reminded us through the review process here that is a required task force by state law. And so something that we need to leave in here, and we'll be revisiting how we're doing that. And then the Coordinated School Health Program Steering Committee also, again, has to be named according to state law. That's not necessarily an ongoing committee, but one that can be formed and hold meetings as requested. And then you will see there's the option for joint committees together with the city council, and citizen advisory panels, which is a good example of that would be our current boundaries committee. And then there are also sometimes city-sponsored committees that our board members would take part in. So effectively laying out the what and the who and the how, and then what the committees would be as well. And Chair Lentz, Dr. Scallon, I don't know if there's anything I left out that was important.
The only thing I would add is just in the top section 1 is that we didn't have before now in any policy just like a group of guidelines about what a committee does and how it functions and kind of like the rules of a committee. You know, and as someone who's been chair for the last couple of years, not having that in one central place has just been hard. So I think that this will be helpful moving forward. Anything else, Superintendent, that you would add, or Board Member Lena as our new policy chair? Awesome. So that will be up for a vote at our next meeting on the 25th, I believe it is. And then we just have our disco show here. Diligent community coming up. It's all right. We'll get it sorted. Overview.
Yes. So didn't have a good place to like put this and didn't want to do a workshop at the end because we wanted the public to be able to just get oriented to it. Diligent Community is the new platform that we use for organizing and maintaining all of our board materials, agendas, minutes, etc. This was needed as Board Docs, the platform, also run and hosted by Diligent Communities, is no longer going to exist in the not too distant future. And so we need to make this change. I'm just going to walk through really quickly for board members and the public how to access the materials so that you are able to see it, and just acknowledging that this is getting built and developed as we go. And so there's some pieces that we will continue to tweak. So first, if you're on our website and you are looking to find where the board materials are, you can go right here under board and you will see board agendas and materials. And if you click on this, for the public or for you board members, it will take you to the homepage for Diligent Community. It has a large amount of information actually here. And so if you were to scroll down, you can see everything from bios around board members to the board policies. You can also click here around board meeting recordings just to say either you missed one and you're really excited to catch up on it so you don't miss a meeting in the series, or you're having a hard time sleeping at night. Either one, you click on it, it will take you to all of the recordings, so you can access that right there. Key piece just in terms of meeting materials is if you're viewing this from the public, you click on meetings, and it will take you to each of the 4 standing committees that were just discussed, the business meeting, which is our standard board meeting, as well as the attendance boundaries advisory. 2 of those are getting moved because of how they came in. If you click on one, so let's just say we clicked on tonight's agenda. Click on it, and you will come to a page that shows you the agenda, as well as hyperlinks to any of the materials that are being discussed. If you're a board member that needs a printed out copy or to look at all of the materials at once, if you go up a little bit and you click on Agenda Packet, that will pull up all of the materials as one PDF so that you can access it and have it all right there. Also available, if we go back, so if I were to click on last night's Public and Legislative Affairs Committee, you have it here. It also has the Zoom right here. For the public, that's the Zoom that will take you in as an audience member. For board members, it again takes you onto that audience side. And so if you can't find your webinar link and you're looking for it, you can always click here and then move over. But this does not take you to the participant or panelist side. Other piece just want to highlight, you have the full calendar right here. This is of the meetings, and so you can click on it and see the meetings for the day as well as the agenda. Trying to think about anything else I just want to highlight. Oh, if you're logged in as a board member, as yourself, you can click on My Meetings right here, and it will take you to the agendas and materials for your upcoming meeting. And so you can access it all right there in the top and have access to it. Our work, and we always like aspire to it, and it's sometimes easier said than done, is to continue to have full board materials available the Thursday before board meetings. So it would have been last Thursday for either the committee meetings on Monday or the board meetings on Tuesday. Where we update it, just so that you can see where there's updated, we will put updated and include a new link. And that way just you have that, and for transparency's sake, and especially when it comes to personnel where we're updating it day of, we don't want to take it down and just have the new one be there. So that's what we're doing around materials. Everybody on the board should have a username and login. Did you guys get them?
Yeah, I tried to log in with just my board email and my password for that, and it didn't work.
It's a specific password for Diligent, so I'll follow up to see if we can get you that.
Wonderful.
Great. That's not a problem. Everybody else received it?
Is this the one that we would have gotten a while back?
And then I believe Kate sent an updated one last week. Yeah.
All right, I'll go check.
Diligent, if you're not receiving the email in your regular inbox, it's going to spam. And so if you go into your email spam folder and just click that it's not spam, in the future it will not go there. And so then you will get all of the updates that happen in real time to your email. But that's where it's sitting.
Could you quickly show people where the board books live, like the policies,
Yep.
and how to search past meetings for things, if you know how to do those things?
So you're going to test me a little bit on searching past meetings. If I go back, let's just see if I can get back to the homepage. If you go to the homepage, you will see board policies right there. There's a little piece that we're working with Diligent on to update, because if you click on it, it will tell you the book by letter, which is not that helpful unless I believe you're Dr. Opperman and have studied what each of the letters stand for. If you click on this little down arrow, though, you will see that book A is around foundations and basic commitments. And then if you click into it, you will see all of the board's policies right there. And so they are there.
Great.
I don't have it.
In terms of historical, if you go to meetings, there's a board doc archive at the bottom that has the items that were brought over from board docs. And so that should take you to it. In the future, as you can see here, for example, with the business meetings, so we actually tested this out by starting this behind the scenes for a May 20th meeting. What you'll see is that past meetings will just get linked under the committee. And so they will have it there. I truthfully have not played around a ton with Board Docs Archive, and so I'd want to look back at that. But just to see if they're all there.
Okay, awesome. Any questions from anybody about Diligent Community? I think as you get in there, you may have questions, so feel free to, you could also just send them to the whole board so we can all help each other around this. But I do think there's some exciting updates here that make this feel a little bit less clunky and fresher, which is nice. Beautiful. So with that, I would be looking for a motion for the consideration and action to enter into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056D to discuss the superintendent's evaluation and contract. Is there a second? Oh, I didn't get the motion. Can I get the motion? Thank you, Board Member Lena. Second by Board Member Opperman. All those in favor? Okay, that was unanimous. And we'll move into executive session. Which room are we using? Okay, perfect.
I do have it. Let us.
Pull up
Mark.
the document. Bring it. Got it.
Good luck getting ready for school.
Thank you.
How many hours you putting in a week?
0 this week because of the wisdom teeth thing, which I guess you knew about. I don't know when I talked about
Guess when's that come tomorrow?
it. No, that's on Thursday.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Had a bad reaction.
Yes.
Tell me how it goes, because I figured mine out and I'm not.
I'm mildly frightened. I'm excited for
I move to authorize the board chair to employ and execute an employment agreement with the superintendent consistent with the terms discussed during executive session.
Thank you, Board Member Lena. Is there a second? Thank you, Board Member Opperman. Are there any questions from the board? We don't take public comment on personnel issues. Is there any general discussion from the board? Okay, seeing none, then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of authorizing the board chair to employ and execute an employment agreement with the superintendent consistent with the terms discussed during executive session. Dr. Warren, will you please call the roll?
Member Ali, Member Yusra Ali,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo,
Yes.
Member Bryden,
Yes.
Member Lena, Member Noor,
Yes.
Member Opperman,
Yes.
Member Sautel.
Yes.
No student representatives left in the building, and Chair Lentz.
Yes, so the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, board, and thank you, superintendent, for that updated contract. And now I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, Board Member Bryden, seconded by Board Member Opperman with enthusiasm. All those in favor of adjournment? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.